Tonight, we have some amazing stuff that we're going to do. We're going to break down Intellichat into all the components, what they do, how you do that. This is a video that will be able to be used for you guys to go back and reference on and really get the most out of all of the capabilities that Intellichat has to offer. So let's just talk about the basics of Intellichat, that once you get into it, you have this really open interface that is free, that you can do what you want to with it. But there's really three key things at the very top that you have to start to understand. Obviously, the new chat. It's that simple. If you want to create a new conversation, you just click the new chat and you're going to start brand new. And why do you care about conversations or chats? The main reason is because that's where all of your context is coming from. So if you're in a conversation, think of it just like a group chat, group text chat that you're in. Everybody that's in that text group is going to understand what's been said because they can follow along. But if you jump into a different text group, nobody's going to know anything about the last one. And that's the same thing that you need to understand about a chat or a conversation that you're having. They're just new conversation groups that you're in. And then, of course, we have our models. Now, the models allow you to have the world's best models that you don't have to have a subscription to any of them. Rubi gets you access to all of them. And there's a lot of different things about each one of them that separate out like why I would use this one over that one. But what I like to do is understand that all of them have strengths, all of them have weaknesses, and it's on maybe the same prompt today. You might get something different tomorrow because it's AI. And so for you to be able to use all the world's best chats and to decide which is the one that's giving you the best results for what you're looking for. And you easily can move around them just by simply clicking on them. And so if I'm on with Cohere, I can do a lot of different things. I can do Cloud Opus. And just by clicking on these, I'm going to be able to use in whatever I put into my text prompt box down below, I'm going to be using whatever is selected in this model window. Now, in this model window, there's a lot going on. And so let's spend a little time breaking it down. So the first thing is you'll see that there's this make this my default. When you click that, and then you click any of the other models, you're going to see that it will actually change and it will become your new defaulted model. And what that means is that when you leave Intellichat or you come back into Ruby and you go to Intellichat, this is the model that will automatically be loaded for you. And so that's your default. I prefer to have that on Claude Sonnet 3.5. That's just my favorite, but you choose whichever one you want. Whichever one you're using the most is really the one that you should use. Now, the third thing that you'll notice right at the top, it says module and select a module. This is how you get to the 150 pre-built prompts written by professional engineers that get you incredible content without you having to go through all the process of writing this incredible prompt. And it's literally for anything that you can think of. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a scrolling window here. This is our collections. And what it does is it groups those 150 pre-built prompts and puts them into little categories so it's easier to find them. So if I wanted to do something with business, I'm going to see these are my pre-built prompts for business. If I want to go down to writing at the very bottom, these are all of my writing. Now, there's also a search tool at the top. So if you wanted to say, let's do a blog, I can just type blog and it will pull up all of the modules that are dealing with blogs. So easy ways to get around the tools that you have here. And what makes this great for modules, if you haven't used modules, it just makes it so that you're just filling in the blanks. If you can do checkboxes, radio buttons, small little sentences, you're going to get incredible results. And I'll give you a good example of, let's go do the social media one real fast because I like this multi-day schedule. I can come in here without writing a big prompt at all. And I can just give the meat and potatoes of what it's going to require. And so I got my little bit of information there. Now, obviously, the more information you put in, the better. Yes, right. I'm just in a hurry here because I'm doing a demo. The time zone. Why is the time zone? This one is important because it's telling me exactly what time to post this schedule. And I want obviously know it's in my time zone. So I'm going to put central. And now you can choose your media platforms. Again, just checkboxes. I don't have to go through and do anything. It's just a checkbox. That's why I do Facebook, or I can maybe do Facebook and Snapchat. Okay, so these are the two I'm going to do. I don't like emojis in it, so I'm going to take those out. I don't really need markdown formatting either. That just makes it look pretty. But my start date, let's do this for November the 1st of 2024. That's going to be my first day that I want to start this. And do I want it to elaborate on my posting times? You know what? Yeah, give me the reason why you're telling me to do it there. And how many days do I want a schedule to be made? I'm just going to do 2. You can do as many as you want. I'm going to do 2 just for the time of it fishing out. So let me hit generate. That is all that you have to do. But what I want you to
From
notice at
my
the very beginning
years
is how big this prompt
of
is.
experience,
And the one thing that we do inside of Intellichat is we don't hide or mask these.
best
We want you
free
to be able to
valuable
see them
tip that I
because if you look at the prompts that is creating this great content, that's what this is up here. This is the prompt. Okay. It starts right here. And you can see that it's not just a single sentence of make me a social media schedule. It's going in and putting in a lot of the information that we're going to need to make sure that it's doing it right. It's staying in the guidelines that it's bringing it back into memory. This is written to make sure that you're going to get what it is that you're wanting to do. And you didn't have to know all this. And so we put it here, not to mask it, not to hide it, not so that you can't copy it and take it somewhere else. We put it here because we want you to be able to learn how to make great prompts. And one of the best ways I've learned to do that is just to look at great prompts. And so you have this, and this is an amazing asset inside of Intellighat because most people who do these things try to mask it or make you want to buy it or whatever. And we just want you to be better because we know that the better you get at writing prompts and being able to understand AI in general, you're going to love Ruby even more. So now let's talk about just what it did. It came in with November 1 as my date. It has Facebook. This is my release. And it tells me exactly to do it at 9:10 a.m. And if I come down here at the very end, I did ask it to tell me why it chose these times. And so it did that. It said my morning post at 9:15 to 10:30 target users, checking their feeds during their morning commute. That's a great time to hit them. And then also the afternoon post. Why am I doing it here? Your late evening post. This is all of the psychology behind and the trends to make sure that you're posting and getting most engagement. Now, all of that was done through just a simple little question and answer type of module. And we have 150 of those that are going to drive unbelievable things. And it's business, whether it's social media, whether it's marketing. Maybe it's just that you want some really good tips on health and wellness or SEO or whatever it is that you want to use it for in your life. That's what these collections are for. So that kind of takes up the whole thing at the top. Okay. Now you're going to go into some of the stuff that I really love because one of the things that people do, and they just don't understand why, is they spend all this time creating all kinds of content, writing their blogs, writing websites, writing landing pages, writing emails and letters. And they're not getting the responses that they're looking for. And almost every single time, it's because they're not reaching the right audience and they're not reaching that audience in the right way to make them want to engage or to catch their attention or to make them convert. And so what we have done inside of Intellichat is we brought in the power of personify. And personify allows us to go in Ruby and create unbelievable target audiences and personas that we can then use to create unbelievable content that's going to be on message every single time. Now, when we create personas inside of Personify, we're not doing that so we can get a voice and a tone. Because that's where AI has always seemed to be landing right now is give it a tone, maybe give it a voice and a tone. Most people don't even know what the difference between the voice and the tone are. But there's a big difference when it comes to marketing. And you don't have to be a marketing genius or know literally anything about marketing. You can literally come in and create your personas and it will do everything for you through just a simple little text. If you want to do something about Ruby AI, you can tell a little bit of a description about Ruby and it's going to be able to write you a great target audience. The more detailed you are, the better outcome you're going to get. And gives you up to 5,000 characters and you can really do it. Now, one thing you're going to find throughout all of Ruby, you're going to see this little wand right in the bottom. And this is great because the Ruby Assistant allows us to really take Intellichat anywhere we go inside of Ruby. And so I can just click on whichever one I want to use. I want to use 3.5 Sonnet. So I'm going to find my model. And then I can ask it to write me a description of Ruby AI. Okay. So it's going to go ahead and do this. Now, what's great about this is that I don't have to leave. I can stay right here and I can get all of the information. Now, once it's finished with all of this, I can literally click the insert button and click anywhere in my next box. It's going to put all that information right in there for me. And so I'm going to actually do this again because I love the way that it does the stuff, gives me the nice little markdown, but I don't want markdown when I'm going into my text. So I'm going to say without markdown, and I'm going to just run it again. And now I'm going to grab that. I'm going to clear all this information out. And so now I've got everything in just text. That's great. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to hit insert and click again, and boom, I've got everything the way I want it. And now I can hit create persona. And this is going to go and create my persona. And it's so easy that I don't have to know anything about marketing. So why is this here? And I'll just give you a reason why this is baking here a little bit in the background. Is that for 30 years, I've been in the advertising and marketing business. And we would spend so much time making sure that all of our clients had the right persona, the right target audience, so that when we were creating their ads, when we were creating their billboards, we're creating anything that deals with their brand and their image, that we were going to be talking to the right audience in the right way, because ad dollars are precious. And if you want to keep your job as an ad agency, you've got to make sure you're performing and giving results. And this is why we would spend so much time at taking all that knowledge and I put it all right here so that you can come in, you can create an incredible persona without having to go through and know all the things that we know. Now, we give you 4 different descriptions, and you can spend a little time reading these because each one of them is going to have a little nuance, maybe a little bit different, but all you're trying to do is get close. You're just trying to get the one that you think is best, and it might not be exact. You might say, my income range might be a little higher. Don't worry about that. If everything else is great in the description, that's fine. Let's just choose that one, and that'll be the one that we want to use. So that's great. So I'm going to hit continue. We're going to move on down now. And what it's doing now is it's actually going and creating an avatar based upon the description in which you've chosen. Now, why do we do that? I'm just, again, a big believer that having an image that I can look at and it represents who I'm talking to or talking for is going to be important. And so if this is not the right one, you can do it again. You can come over here and generate a new one, and you can keep doing this until you get the right one, or you can actually come over here, click upload avatar, and put in any image that you wish. I'm just going to do this one right now to finalize the persona. Now, once I finalize persona, now I can go in, and this is an incredible way to go and fine tune it. If you think that your description was close, which is right up here, by the way, this is your description. If you want to tweak it a little bit, you can do that. Let's say that my primary age 25 to 34. Yeah, I like that. I think that's great. But I actually want to move into a higher income bracket. So I'm going to actually hit $100,000 or more. Now, all I have to do is that one thing, and I can move on now to making my psychographics. Now, when you get down into creating content, you can have the right voice, you can have the right tone, you can even use some of the similar words that might get their attention. But if you're not doing one of 2 things, you're never going to get engagement. And that is to, 1, talk to the motivation points of that audience, to make sure that you're talking about something that motivates them to engage. And that's why we have this whole thing called motivation. I'm getting into this audience and I'm saying they're all about career advancement. They're about intellectual stimulation. They're about problem solving. And if I want to, the AI actually gives me some other default ones that would be second, but it highlights the top 3. And then it gives me the top 5. And I can say, I actually like this one too, contributing to the societies, and they're a big motivator. But then the second part is that what you're offering, whether it be a service, whether it be a product, maybe it's just advice, or you're looking to counsel or whatever. You got to be able to say that whatever you're offering is going to answer a pain point. And that's why we have the 3 pain points here. And again, you can change these. You can just type in here to make them more rounded if you wish. And maybe you have one that used to be just better than what was driven from here. So inefficient processes caused by the lack of knowledge to use AI. Okay, so I'm going to use that one. Okay, so now all I have to do is hit save. It's going to save everything that I have done here, so I can come back to it. And you can see that I now have Sophie the AI enthusiast over here. It's giving it a name. Now I can go in and change that name if I wish. And the other thing you'll see is that it's got these little stars here. If I click the star, it actually is going to favorite it and pull it to the top, and I can have all my favorites up to the top of this thing. It's incredible. And then there's also the voice and tones. We give you 3 voices and 3 tones, and these are important because this is what you're going to select when you're creating that content inside of Intellichat. So let's go back to Intellichat now and show you how you find and put that persona that we just created into work. All right. Going to click Sophia, the enthusiast, and here are those voices and tones that we had actually saved. I want to do knowledgeable and I want to do informative. So I'm going to be more about someone who knows a lot, but then it's going to be giving you information and not trying to persuade you. I'm just going to give you the information. Now I can go back and I can use our modules to do that, or I can just come down and I can just go into certain things and just type whatever I want. Again, this was our default. That's why it is set there. So I'm going to actually switch over to Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And I'm going to actually just do this through prompting real quick. And the first thing, just to show you what the persona is and how it's being pulled into everything, I'm just going to have it give me a quick summary. Give me a summary. I'm going to learn to type better. You make me nervous. And just like that, I'll be able to go in and look and see exactly what the persona is that they're pulling in. This is directly from right here. We're pulling it in. So while we're out there and we're building on our content, this is actually being looked at so that when we write something about a product or service, it's going to pull it in. So now we know that it's the right persona. I'm now going to go in here, and I don't have to have this, by the way. I could do a whole new chat and pull everything. This is already in the memory of this conversation. So now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to say, create a Facebook post that is engaging to audience about Ruby AI and in their pain points with the solutions for. And so now I'm going to go ahead and have it create me my Facebook post. Again, it's using this already. So we already know what their pain points are. We already know what their motivations are. So we've already looked at that. So tired of juggling multiple tools and drowning in data? Rubi AI is here to revolutionize your workflow. Harness power, cutting edge AI, automate repetitive tasks, attract actual insights for complex data sets. Anything that you can give it in detail. You're going to be able to get in here, get really fine-tuned so that when you're talking to the audience that you are trying to sell to or persuade, or maybe just communicate, and you need to have them receive that, like in a newsletter, maybe it's in a letter, maybe it's in an email. Intellichat is a way for you to really make sure you write to that specific audience in a way that they need to hear it. So let's clear this out now. So that's all the things at the very beginning. And you can see there's a lot that goes on just right here at the top. There's one more little button over here. If you have a persona in there and you want to clear it out, just hit reset and you're all set. Now, one of the things you might have seen when I went over here in this box, there are some little icons. And if you hover over the icon next to the name, you're going to see 2 different multimodal properties. One of them is called vision enabled, and another one is called anchoring enabled. And these are really important because they bring bigger functionality into Intellichat. So let's look at all the ones. Some of these models just do one. GPT-4o Mini, that's what we can be doing in vision enabled. The same thing with GPT-4o. Cohere only does anchoring. It doesn't have vision. But when you get down to Claude 3 Opus, it's got both of them. So does Sonnet. And so there's a lot of different ones out there that 2 or 3 of them. So this opens up the door for you to choose which model you want to use these other features. So let's just start with vision. Now, if you're choosing a model that doesn't have vision enabled or anchoring enabled, you're going to see this little plus sign that's right down here, there anymore, because it's not an option for you. But if I click on it and you see that little plus sign, that's going to say, hey, you can now upload an image. And I can have them look at this image, read the image, and I can query against the image by writing a really good prompt. I got a couple of examples I'm going to use for vision enabled for you right now. The first one I want to do is to look at actual financial sheets. So this is just a mocked up balance sheet that I can then bring in and let Ruby take a look at it. And then I can start to ask it queries and questions about financial positions and the way it works. So it's just this easy. I click on the button, I click to upload my source. So I'm going to go find it. It's right here at the top. I'm going to import that in. And when I import that in, it's just going to, you can see right here, it's a little image. I can have up to 20 different images coming in at the same time. So if I had a balance sheet, I have my P&L, I can bring in all of the different maybe schedules or maybe SKUs or whatever it is that I'm looking to bring in. I can bring them all in at one time. And then I'm just going to hit process with vision. And what that does is it puts them down there. Now I can start to query. So I'm going to ask and prompt it to say, read this financial document and summarize it and give me an opinion on the financial position of the company. And something just like that. Again, it doesn't even have to be spelled right because I can't do that. It will go read it, it will bring it in, it will summarize it, and then it's going to give you that opinion. Opinion on financial position of Annie's Pottery Palace appears to be a relatively stable financial position, but there are some points to consider. Positive net worth. The company has a positive equity of $15,000, which is good. This means the business assets exceed its liabilities. The liquidity. It's just going to break it down. And this was just amazing because now you can keep asking more questions. And obviously, this is a very simple balance sheet, but it can do the same thing with a public company. It can go in and bring documents and you can start to really see what you're doing. So this is one of a billion different ways that you can go and use the benefits of vision. But a lot of people don't think about reading charts or graphs or papers. They are just thinking about images. And let me tell you, images are just as impressive. So let's do this. I actually am going to bring in an image of a, like this is looking amazing, all right? So this is an image that was created in Midjourney inside of our video, virtual studio. I'm going to add my process with vision, add my image. And now I'm going to come in and say, describe the image and give me the best recipe step by step so I can make this exactly. Also include nutritional data. And just like that, just coming from a simple picture of an image of a steak on a grill, I can come up with incredible things. It's a grilled ribeye steak. You can do that. It's going to tell me how to go about doing it. Guys, there is so much that you can do with Ruby in just mere seconds with images. And it's just endless where you can go. So that's how you use it. So now let's talk about our other little thing called anchoring. So what anchoring does is it eliminates the opportunity to get data from the rest of the world or inside maybe a biased area that you don't want involved in the answers and queries or results of the content you're creating. And so this would be trusted information. And if you look at this little tab to the right of Intellichat, has a whole bunch of amazing features built right into this little tab. When you see your conversations, every conversation that you have, every chat is saved in the system until you go in and you actually delete that from the system. So all of our stuff about reading the financial document, if I just click that, everything is brought right back in and I can take up right where I left off. Now, if I don't want that anymore, I literally can just go and delete it. Oh, I don't need this of the summary. I'll just delete that and I'm going to confirm it. And now it's gone and I don't ever have to see that ever again. Okay, so I can do that. But everything is recorded until you delete that. Now, once it's deleted, it's gone from our system forever. You can never recover it. So make sure you're doing that confirm after that's exactly what you want to do. Now, the second one next to us is anchoring. I'm going to come back to that because that's going to be the main thing that we're going to talk about when we're in this drawer. But let's talk about prompts. Prompts allow you to find all the prompts that you want saved. And clear over here on the left, you'll see that there's a prompt on the menu. This is where you can create your own prompts and you can save them. If you're going to use them over and over again, this is a great place to save them. And just by clicking on that prompt, it actually will load it down here. And you can see it also changed my model because when you create your prompts, you choose a default model that you want to use with your prompt. So I don't show this very much, but let's go ahead and do that. We'll come back to anchoring here in just a second. Let's go ahead and show you the prompts because it's really easy. So let's just say I want to create a new prompt. I'm going to call this nutrition breakdown. Okay, from image. So I'm going to do it from the image. I actually am going to use my Sonnet 3.5 Anthropic because I like that one. I'm going to choose a product. It's going to go to my project. So if you don't know about projects, allow you just to go up and choose to sort all the material that you're creating and keep it nice and tidy and organized. So let's just write this prompt. So this prompt is going to be, give me the nutritional data from the image and a step theory or making okay. So let's put nutritional right and then we go off the profile. Okay. So now I have it and I can add it to my favorites if I want to do that. And now I'm just going to save it. Okay. So now I've created my prompt. I've used it on Claude 3.5 Sonnet. You see the name, not nutritional breakdown from an image. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. It's right here. You can see that my preferred model is saved right there. I had everything I need. If I want to check it or change it, I just click the details. Boom, it pulls it all up. I can go back and edit it and I can update. All that's easy to do. But when we go back into Intellichat and I go over to my side drawer over here, you're going to see now in my prompts, I have a new prompt. And it is nutritional breakdown for image. Now you can see my default was Claude 3 Opus. So that's where it loaded. But watch what happens when I click the nutritional breakdown from image. It doesn't just load my prompt. It actually switches it over from here. And now all I have to do is just go get my image and hit process with vision. Computer will load. There we go. And that is it, guys. And now I can do this a million different times. So whatever you're doing with your prompts, things you use a lot of, save them and you can access them so easily inside the drawer. Now, onto the right of that is editor. Editor allows you to take bits and pieces of something and so that you can create your document or maybe use bits and pieces to say, hey, I want to add this to a different prompt or I'm going to keep building. This is your word processor all in one place. So you don't have to have another window or another application open. Everything's done right inside of Intellichat. So now let's get into anchoring. So again, anchoring is one of those things that you look to see if it's enabled on a specific model. And again, it's about going and finding trusted information. I'm going to start with a new chat. And there's two ways that you can use anchoring. Anchoring can be anchored to a specific URL. So it's going to go to that specific website. It's going to grab the data from that website. And that's the website information that you're going to be using to get answers to whatever your prompts are looking for. Now, the other way to do that is to upload a PDF file, and they can be up to 20 megabytes. And you can put them in. And you can see I have a lot of them in here. I might actually go, let me see, I'm going to do something with Selfless. So Selfless is our our fight for sustainable giving against human trafficking. And it's all about finding the right battling that as a community together. And so building this community. And so what I want to do is it's built around Web3. That's why it's a kind of white paper around it. I'm going to close my window. I don't need it anymore. And I just want to come down. You can see right here, my document is highlighted right above it. So I know that I'm actually in anchoring. And I know that this is the document that I'm going to be using. It's not going to be looking for anything outside of this document to give me the answers. This is how I know I'm getting trusted information into the content that I'm asking it for right now. So I'm going to say, summarize the tokenization of selfless. And so just like that, it'll go now read the document and it will pull it back and will bring me all of the information. Guys, this is incredible for HR. We have these huge HR manuals. You can load them in as a PDF file and start to really go in. I will tell you how I've used this in a personal side is that when I was on the board of our HOA and someone would be in violation, I could load up the covenants as a PDF file and just ask it to say, hey, this is a violation that's happening. Please write the letter, full in everything that would be there to show exactly where they can find it in the covenants that they're breaking it and write it in a specific way. I had a persona that it was writing it in and it would just do it. And it was great. In fact, it was like, how do we get this great letters? And I was like, oh, and tell them. But this is powerful to make sure that you're getting really good content. Now, the other thing you'll find is that when it comes out, it actually will tell you that this was Anchor generating results off of a file. And if you hover over that word file, again, it's going to tell you what it is and you'll be able to get there. So that's just an amazing piece that you can dig into. Now, the last thing that we are going to talk about here in Intellichat today is that on Cohere, and we have Cohere for a couple of reasons. One, yes, it is also anchoring enabled. So you can go in and do incredible stuff with anchoring on that. But there's one more thing that happens with, I turn this off real quick. If you have one selected, you can't have that. I need to turn it off so I'm not anchoring anymore. But when I select Cohere, just like if I selected something that doesn't have anything down here, I find something special with Cohere. Yes, I can do anchoring, but the other thing I can do is I can do chat with search. What does that mean? That means that I can actually start to talk to it. It's going to go search the web for information as well as looking to the LLMs to go find that information. So it's going to bring in stuff that's current. So one of the biggest problems in chats right now is that they're not current. And so you have to use a way to get that new current data to go along with it. And in this case here, I'm trying to think of something that's current that I can do. Let me see. Give me information regarding, I don't know, Corey, you got anything coming to mind? That's current. Give me information regarding
floods, elections.
Oh, yeah. The hurricanes of 2024. Again, not great spelling. You don't have to do that. It understands it. But what this will do now is going to bring out all this information, and it wouldn't know this in the model because it's written. Those were back 6 months ago. And so what I can do is I can bring all this information, and now I can add this to more of our things that we're going to be talking about. But at the very end of doing a search, one thing I really love is that it gives you all of the cited sources of where it brought this information in. And if you can see this little white little glimmer going across, it means it's still thinking, okay? So we have this great information. It's still searching. It's still looking for information so I can have everything that I need. And when it's finished, it will actually show all of the sources where it's pulling this from. And so I can go in directly to those sites and I can verify, do I trust this information? Is this the trusted source that I believe in? And I can go do it so much more as we start to go through searching with chat. It's amazing what you can do. This is a good way to start. Okay, so now I have everything. You can look. When I hover over it, it actually tells me what part came from each of the different sources that it's cited to pull this from. And so it's really awesome that you can go in. And again, just by clicking on it, it's a link. It's going to take you to that site and you can see if this is information that you believe is trustworthy for you to use in your content. So guys, this is Intellichat. There's a lot here, but I hope that I've taken some time to spend to go through each of them. And so you can understand how to put them together and how you can get the most out of this incredible product called Intellichat.